We're going live. Welcome back to Longbox Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the Longbox. I am Jay.
No, you're not. I'm E.
I am D. That is
E. Let's do this again.
I am D because let's go with improv.
all right. So I am Jay today. He is D today, and we are here for our weekly comic show, haul, review, news, all that stuff. So, man, there's been a lot going on and nothing going on at the same time.
Yeah.
You're getting a little stir crazy because there's like 5-6 of us, not including the pets, that are here all day. We don't get to go in the afternoon, leave and go do something else. We're here. One thing it does allow me to do is that's all. I got it. Thanks, Tech. All right. All right. So one thing it does allow me to do is read a lot of comics. I've had a lot of time to read. He's had a lot of time to read. And one thing we kind of started doing is actually reading old comics.
Not the same amount of pages, though.
No. No. We're reading old comics and doing our quickfire reviews on the old comics. Kind of a little different.
You were the young fogey.
When I was a young fogey. He's a whippersnapper. So when, we're going to be doing our quickfire reviews like that. Since there's no new comic book day, we're going to do a new to you comic book day, quickfire review, and kind of review old comics like that. But man, the whole coronavirus thing. I hope everybody's staying safe. I know most of us have our kids at home constantly now. Might be a good time to get them into reading comics as part of their schoolwork. I help teach these guys how to read, reading comic books because it has pictures and they get interested in it. It's different. Hey, Rod, how you doing, man? So it might be a good time. Hey, kids, reading time. Read this. Stay quiet. Tell me what it's about when it's done, and maybe you get about 20 minutes a piece.
Yeah, get that reading comprehension SAT scores.
That's right. You've got to tell me what the comic book. No. What was it about? No, read it again.
Read it again.
And so. Maybe a good time to get your kids into comics, reading comics. I know there's not new comics coming out, but there are plenty of old comics. The library has comics. Unfortunately, I don't like digital at all, but there are digital comics. You can get that going and put it on their iPad and let them read it. I'd much rather have a physical copy of anything I'm reading. And in that vein, there is Ollie's. I don't know if everybody around here has an Ollie's store. Or if you even know what an Ollie's store is. It may be a southern thing. I've seen them in Virginia and I've seen them in Florida. So it may be a southern thing. But I put my mask on. Well, I didn't put my mask on. I should have put my mask on. And I had to go to the grocery store to get stuff, which was really weird. Okay. Here we are at the grocery store, you and I.
Yeah.
And it's almost empty. Like there's almost no cars. But almost everybody in there had masks over their face
and gloves,
and not just the mask like this. We saw some people with like big face masks, like construction worker masks or gas masks. We saw a couple dudes in there that had bandanas like we were in the Wild West.
Painting masks.
No, that's the type of mask I would have to wear simply because I have facial hair.
You have a big face.
It would not seal over my face.
You have a gigantic head.
Yeah.
It reminds me, the next time I go out, has anybody done when they were a kid, made the ninja mask out of a t-shirt? Yeah? I taught you guys. That's what we're going to do next time we go out. We're going to ninja mask up. And we have a perfect excuse to look stupid now.
Yes, that is 100%. And I want to see people cosplaying just going to the grocery stores now because everything's so.
We're gonna get black shirts and we're gonna tie it over our face. You put the neck hole.
Real ninjas wear blue.
You put the neck hole right here, and then you put it over your face, and then you tie the arm right around the back like this. And if you fold it up, you could tuck the bottom of your shirt up underneath, and you get 2-ply cotton. Hey, Kachung, how you doing, man?
Oh, my goodness.
2-ply cotton over your face. You look like a ninja, and you're protected from the coronavirus. We are going grocery shopping like that next time. Now, my wife has promised not to go with us.
That's so fair.
Because we told her what we were going to do. She's like,
I don't want to be involved with that.
I'm going to stay home. You can go shopping, which is fine with me because that means I'm getting a lot of treats.
And looking like a ninja.
And I look like a ninja.
We could go Wild West though. Just get a wagon. And,
I've seen people with the bandanas like Wild West, and all they need is a cowboy hat. And I'm like, that is like one ply cotton.
yeah.
It's probably not helping.
You
And
need
then
the cotton polyester blend.
yeah, you need double, triple. Then we go into a
my
grocery
goodness.
store, and they have a face shield like we're getting salad between me and the cashier,
That's
Yeah, it's just a
which is great. But,
Yeah.
but I'm like handing my card around
plexiglass.
to pay. Here's my card.
No, you can go under.
No, you couldn't go under. It went all the way down.
Could've sworn.
we need riot gear. That's what we need.
Riot gear, yes, we like. And then like every store has
We're
taped
gonna
down
walk
the
in
6-foot
dead
thing.
Yes.
All right, but the moral of the story is we went to Ollie's because it was right next door to the grocery store, and I picked up some trade paperbacks. Now,
Yeah.
look I got this one. Daredevil. This covers Daredevil 1 through 10, 10.1, and Amazing Spider-Man 677. I mean, look how thick that is. Look, hardback,
Oh, in the cover, you can't see his eyes because he's blind.
$7. $7.
nice.
And look, I mean, you can tell. Look at the hardcover without the dust cover.
Ooh.
And like I gotta say, if you know people that aren't super into comics, getting a hardback is a really good way because it's a self-contained story. They don't have to figure out where to start from somewhere. You open up your book, you have
Yeah, you don't start at 83 and
So-
like, hey, read this.
Go to Ollie's, buy this, and tell your kid book report. I'm serious. And the
Yes.
story in here. I mean, there was even a story in here where Daredevil was a chaperone or a chaperone for a blind school, and they crashed out in the woods, and he had to lead them through the woods. All these blind kids. It was great. This
That
was
is
a great.
literal
This was a great story.
application of the blind leading the blind.
It was. And then I picked up this. This was $4. Hard book. Now, again, this is only 5 issues. All new X-Men 11 through 15.
But that's also a better price than if you try to collect them all from back issues.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
the cost
look at
of one comic.
Look at that cover. I mean, this is an alternate cover. All new X-Men number 12. That looked great.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that we live in a world where sneezes are more dangerous than bullets right now?
I know.
It's slower.
And if you live in Florida, it's pollen season.
Mm-hmm.
My allergies are killing me every day. I'm taking allergy pills. My eyes are itching constantly. I tear up and I sneeze. That's one of the things I do. And I cough when I have allergies. So when I go out, I'm sneezing and coughing all the time. And people are looking at me like I am
You're a monster.
I am
trying
a
to
walking
kill
nuclear
people.
bomb. And if you say it's just allergies, then I'll go, yeah, that's what they all say. And it is what they all say. So I try not to go out unless I have my ninja mask on. And the face shields are really cool. I mean, I love face shields. I wish I had one. We are actually, I mean, it's crazy that here we are. My wife and I are sitting down shopping for face masks.
Yeah, like that's so different than what the world 2 months ago, right?
Hey, hi, Leah. How you doing, man? Glad you could join us. But yeah, it is a real, and I think you're down in Miami, so you're probably you know, or you're down south of here, so you probably know exactly what we're talking about with those allergies, man. Like right now, my eyes are just wet, tearing up. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, if you can see my shelf here, I started collecting back issues from Ollie's mostly because it was super cheap, but it brought me up current on stories that I haven't read before. Like I haven't read a lot of Green Arrow, but I picked this one up and look at that price.
I don't know if it's gonna show.
Can you see it? $3.99. This covers issues 17 through 24 and issue 23.1. And it's about the Killing Machine story arc, where there are 7 tribes in the Outsiders. Each tribe, arrow, shield, sword, hammer, axe, something like that. And the head of the Arrow was his father, and the bad guy usurped him and now trying to kill Oliver Queen. These are stories I've never read. So I grabbed this for $4. And, you know, it's cool. And I picked up this one. Rod should like that. another Daredevil. I got this one, Rod, for $6. This one covers Daredevil 82 through 93, written by Brubaker.
That's 11 issues.
11 issues. So this was the Brubaker run. Again, stuff I haven't read. So I'm like, hey, got that. Oh, wait. Was that Bullseye? Yeah. So got that one. Batman, Superman, Volume 2. This is 27 through 36 and the annual.
Yeah.
Single issues, especially on back issues. A lot of stores like to price them at either cover priced or a little higher, even though they're probably not worth that anymore.
No.
Not anymore. I mean, even my store selling everything at 75%
Hey, Southern
off.
Comic Geek.
Hey, Southern Comic Geek, how you doing, man? I mean, my store. I mean, I told them, like, I want to buy back issues, but I don't want you to feel like I'm taking advantage of you. I want to spend the same amount of money I normally spend, but you're marking down your back issues at 75% off, and I'm filling in my X-Men run. I'm filling in my Avengers run, and I'm spending probably a little bit more than I normally do, but not too bad. But to cover, try to help them stay open. So yeah. I got that from Ollie's. Ethan Van Sciver, I think, is doing the art in that one, and Mark Verheen. I haven't heard of him. And then this was Batman Superman Volume 4. This is Alan Burnett, and this one's covering issues 37 through 49. And Batman Superman Annual number 2.
Superman.
And the art in here is great too, man. Look at this.
I mean, he's wearing his glasses to bed.
Yeah. Speaking of, who does that?
No, nobody wears their glasses to bed. That's crazy.
He's got to keep his Clark Kent disguise on.
Yeah. So we don't want Lois Lane to know who he is either. But
he's in the bed with Batman.
Oh,
that's new. All right, here you go. But yeah, now I mean, well, you all heard about the news about Diamond, right? So
yeah,
I don't even know if Diamond's coming back. I mean, they can't pay their vendors. They're laying off people. We're gonna have a whole. I mean, I think the whole face of the industry is going to completely change by the time it all gets back to normal.
Maybe
there is no normal anymore.
There's
a new normal.
Yeah. And of course, I don't know where it's going to go. It'll be interesting, but
I think we're going to have a whole new distribution system. I don't think digital is going to be the answer because digital hasn't been the answer so far, and I don't want digital. But I mean, even trade paperbacks, I like them, but they're for what I don't know. I haven't read yet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up on. I don't want to buy my new comics this way unless I absolutely have to. Then I will, if this is the only thing. But I'd rather do this than digital. But this is another one I got at Ollie's. Again, this was like $3 or $4. Uncanny Avengers hardback. I love getting these hardbacks like this. And this is issues 12 through 17, written by Rick Remender, illustrated Steve McNiven, Salvador LaRocca. So this. I mean, I was supposed to be at the grocery store, and I did go to the grocery store.
We got groceries.
We also went to Ollie's, and we did look for toilet paper. They didn't have any. But I was like, well, second best, we just get other things that we can say is for toilet paper, but we're not going to use it for toilet paper. Where?
I would not let you use that.
And then more news. We had Marvel decided to cut their line by 30%.
Yeah, that was
honestly in my opinion, it's a little too late.
Yeah, like a month ago, that would have been. Oh, really?
I mean,
finally, all those books they're going nowhere.
They're putting out almost 92 books a month.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not only so much shelf space, and people only have so much money.
Yeah.
So comic book stores can't buy all 92 books, and even if they get them all, they're not all going to sell. Where if they had 10 of this book, it would have sold all 10, but they could only get 2 because they had to get all these others. That kind of stuff just irks me. But that they should have cut their line down to the good stuff, keep the good ones, and have one or two new things that people can, read and go, oh, this is interesting. Is this good? They used to start new characters out in a group.
Yeah.
And then they would see how well they fit,
or hook them with Spider-Man.
how people liked them, and then or they hook up with Spider-Man, like Darkhawk did that. Then he got his own series, Nova, right? They put him in with he was with the Avengers, he was with the New Warriors.
Yeah, isn't that what the Marvel team ups were about?
That part of the Marvel team ups, the 2-in-1s.
Yeah, Spider-Man was for the longest time. Then it became Wolverine, and then
the Thing had a Marvel 2-in-1s, and then you had the Marvel team ups, and then so you had a bunch of things where they could introduce new characters, and then they could build up the repertoire and bring in new characters. That was good stuff, but that kind of I don't know where all that went, but
yeah, it's something you'd look at and be like, oh yeah, that character was with Spider-Man. He seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember reading him over there. I'll read it in there.
I'll try it.
But now we just get a bunch of series of mini stuff, and it's kind of crazy.
They're gonna have to find a way to get issues out. Otherwise, they're not gonna be able to pay people for a month, 2 months, and if that happens, it's gonna be hard to rebuild.
Yeah, it'll be hard to rebuild.
I think I saw some where Marvel wanted to get their own printing.
They
did that once where they bought their own distributing company, and then it just didn't work out. All right, so we have a bunch of comics here from a previous haul that we were going to go through. We're going to talk a little bit about what we think of the cover. If there's something about the writer or the artist that we like, we'll bring up. Just go through our haul. So there's not a lot of news on the comic front. More news on the virus front. More news on being stuck at home and allergies and all that kind of other stuff.
We reached over 1 million confirmed cases.
Yeah, it was crazy now. So hopefully everybody's staying safe. Hopefully, we'll show some comics here, and we'll share it together. We'll have that old-fashioned shop talk where, hey, look what I got. Look at these old comics.
Yeah.
And so first one we picked up is Detective Comics number 568.
And this is why capes are a no-no.
Listen to The Incredibles. Come on, Batman.
This is why capes are a no-no. And he hanging off the freeway exit sign for Gotham?
It looks like it. Jinx.
And is that a bunch of bats or vultures behind him?
I don't know.
Bats or vultures, everybody?
It's got to be bats.
Birds. They're birds.
Everything with Batman
well,
is bats.
These are birds, but what about those? Is those all birds or bats? Bats or vultures? We got vultures up front, so I don't know.
Let's throw up a poll. Come on.
Yeah, we should have a poll. All right. Then we have.
I mean, going back to the solid paper books, digital may have worked for regular just books.
I don't know if.
I mean, there was an entire tablet, the Kindle.
Yeah, that was a lot
meant
of
for
hype.
just reading.
We'd have to look at the actual market right now, and I don't have enough information on that.
Well, there's a couple things with digital. Okay, one, you can't hold it, right? I can't hand it off to somebody. I can't let them read it.
I mean, you can send it to me.
No, I can't. It's mine. It's on my device. I have to give you my login information.
Yep.
I can't. That's for the. Two, it has no value to it, right? It's just digital pixels sitting there.
No equity.
I can't sell it. I can't donate it to my kids when I die. It's not an investment in any way. There's no emotional investment in that. This is something I can hold, I can see, I can look. I have fun. I know I'm weird, but I have fun actually sorting comics. I have fun putting them in bags and boards. I have fun reading them. I have fun organizing them. I have fun putting them in my database.
The bags and boards.
You can't smell digital.
You know what? That's true.
So there's lots of things with digital you can't do. The third thing I noticed with digital and digital changes the way you read a comic. Mm-hmm. It's when you open up a comic and you see a splash page, which I don't know if this has a good one in it. I haven't read this one yet. But of course, in this comic, all they're doing is playing baseball. But when you open a comic and you see a big splash page, your eyes takes the whole thing in, right? You see it all, and then you focus in on a section, and you read it, but you see the action progress across the page. And you kind of know where it's going to go. You kind of get a feeling what's happening. You kind of get the whole emotion of it. A lot of things with digital, because of the way the ratio works, you may get the splash page, but it's out here. where it's really small, right? And then you zoom in and you get this little square. So the feeling you get while reading it changes because it changes the way you actually perceive the whole page.
If comics are going to go digital, they cannot be the same layout these are.
No, it has to be a different layout. It's going to change the way you read a comic. It's going to change the way you interact with a comic. It's going to change the way you. So when an artist now designs the layout of a page, if he designed it for digital,
He'd have to do it shot by shot by shot.
then you wouldn't have splash pages like that. More information would be in a smaller square, more emotion, more feeling. Where here, sometimes you want the feeling to cross over the whole panels, over the whole page. You don't really get that. There's some things where they do, like here, like this baseball shot.
It's just a picture of baseball.
You know, over here, he's throwing the ball. You can see him wind up. He's throwing the ball. You see the guy's eyes. You see crack. You take that all in one shot. You look at it and go, oh, yeah, they're playing baseball. I can see his emotion. I can see him get ready to bat. I can see what he's going to do. He's going to crack, and then I can feel that crack. But when you go through it panel by panel, you lose some of that buildup in my mind.
Yeah.
Because I see it all here, and then as I go through it, it builds up.
Yeah, it's like a buildup of potential energy, and then you just don't get the payoff.
Then you don't get the payoff. And I think, it may be just the way I read digital, but the way I've seen digital work, and I have quite a few digital comics on Comixology, to be honest, is you lose that value of the reading experience. It changes because the comic is designed for this. It's not designed for that. So they're taking this, they're putting it in that, and it's like retrofitting. And retrofits never live up to the potential of the original. It's retrofitted.
And I think to add to that, at a fundamental level, comics, like making things digital, is about efficiency and being able to see things more efficiently, read things, and just more easily, right? I don't think comics have been ever designed for efficiency. Like you're reading and you're seeing pictures. If you wanted efficient reading, you'd get a book.
Right.
If you wanted efficient pictures, you'd see a movie. That's not what comics are about. It's a very specific thing, and so to make it more efficient is counterproductive.
Right. And
That's a good way to put it.
About the storage space. I mean, you get digital comics, you can store it all on, this, right? But that
you get physical.
But that's not the point. The point is comics are a fun thing to collect, like baseball cards. You don't put them digital. You keep them. You hold them. You put them in cases, and you can show them off, and you can just
Bakugan cards.
You can just display them. All right, let's get you.
That's a very specific cut.
Wrong generation. But in my opinion, digital loses a lot of what we makes comics. It loses a lot of what makes the fun of reading comics. So, what was our original point? I forgot where we started. But
physical is better.
Physical's better,
in our opinions.
All right, so we picked up the Young All-Star 7. And as we have found out, the cover has nothing to do with what's going on inside. That basically they all play baseball. It's just all baseball in their superhero outfits.
Although that's totally an anime.
Yeah, they're all playing baseball. So this is from 1987. So we picked that up. I need to replace these bags.
Yeah.
These are the bags that came in. All right, so Young All Stars 10.
I bet it's more baseball.
No, it's volleyball.
Let's see if we've changed sports. Well, no. Oh, well.
It's still baseball.
Football.
Ooh.
And then there's that.
Nothing.
And then we have somebody hitting a guy with a baseball bat.
Peter doesn't have a hand.
Huh. All right, so I don't know if I'm a big fan of the Young All-Stars. Is anybody here a fan of Young All-Stars?
No. Probably not.
You never know.
If you're missing these issues of Young All-Stars, hit me up on Instagram, Twitter. You got my email. I'll let you have them because.
Well, you have to read them once.
I'm going to read them once because I promised to read everything. that I get. But yes,
Peter doesn't have a hand.
where he
That's
does.
just
That's his thumb.
Oh.
What?
That looks like a stub.
What?
That
So,
looks like a stub.
That's another one we got. Peter Parker,
Mr. Artist
It
over
looks like a
here.
stub.
the 99 annual, and he thinks that Peter Parker's got a
Oh.
stub there.
That looks like a stub.
That looks like
that's
his
a
thumb.
Whatever.
And this is why this kid needs digital.
Oh.
All right, so it looks like he's fighting the Man Thing in this.
Man
Man
one. Spider-Man versus Man Thing.
thing. Man thing is man thing. That's all you can say.
All right, then we have Aliens. Aliens Hive by Dark Horse.
Aren't aliens
That looks
also xenophobic? If they attack the Earth?
I think
Not if they're just hunting.
I think you'd have to have a fear of your prey, and at that point, they're not.
Yeah,
prey.
do you hate your prey? No, it's like us hunting deer. It's not xenophobia against deer. It's meat. All right, so Batman versus Predator number 2.
I did not know that was a thing.
Batman versus Predator number 2. That looks great.
Of course, it's a thing. Of course.
This is by Dark Horse and
You gotta
DC.
love the cow.
That's awesome. All right. Then we have this is interesting.
Oh my goodness. That's actually the most bat-like cow he's
Batman Superman number 26, written by all those people.
Whoa. Why are there so many writers?
Sam Loeb with Arthur Adams, Joe Casey, John Cassidy, Joyce Chin, Ian Churchill, Alan Heinberg, Goff Johns, Joe Kelly, Mike Connell, Jim Lee, Pat Lee, Rob Liefeld, Paul Levitz, Jeff Loeb, Joe Madureira, Jeff Matsuda, Ed
A lot of famous
McGinnis, Brad
names.
Meltzer, Carlos Pacheco, Duncan Roulet, Tim Sale, Richard Starkins, Michael Turner, Brian V. Kayvon,
Are those artists?
Some are Josh Whedon. Some are writers, some are artists. And that is a Michael Turner cover, by the way, which he has some great artists.
Is that just something where, like, you know how animators will contribute a scene for
They may have contributed. It's like issue 26. And it's, I guess, maybe a little thicker than an average book. So they all may have contributed a little bit. Yeah, Kachung,
That is beautiful.
this Aliens versus Predator. So this is Aliens Hive, and that's Batman versus Predator. I love the Aliens versus Predator movie. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? Glad you could join us.
Ooh.
We're just talking some Aliens and Predator and
Ooh.
Michael Turner and
Look at that.
yeah, look at this. That's a great look at splash page. Again, when you're reading digital, it would come out like this.
Yeah.
And then it would
It's not-
zoom in, and
it's
you
not-
would
it's
get
not
that.
formatted correctly.
You would get this, and you have to read each bubble. So it just kind of takes away of the feeling of that. Yeah, man, that is beautiful. Whew, all right. Yeah, I haven't read a lot of them highly.
I think each page
Of
is
the
a
Alien
different
run.
artist.
I haven't read a lot of the Dark Horse stuff. It's been a long time since I've grabbed some Dark Horse stuff.
That's what it looks like. Is each page is done by a different artist.
It's exactly what it looks like.
It could be. Yeah. Yeah.
It
It
is.
changes every page. That's great.
This is great.
All right, so here's the another one we got. It's called Secret Origins: Batman versus the Mud Pack.
That's Jim Lee.
Yeah, that's Jim Lee.
He's like, yeah, there's no question about that.
That's Jim Lee.
That's something I see with animation. It's a cool idea. I could not do it with every comic,
It would drive me nuts
but
to have comics switch artists all the time.
and it's wildly different art styles too. They're not even similar.
I mean, this is kind of similar.
So-
yeah, but it's
I haven't actually heard. I mean, I recognize some of the people in the Mud Pack, but I haven't read a lot of the Mud Pack guys. So I don't even know what that's about. So that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, Alien.
That's all
First
problem.
comic bought. So Kaching said, "Aliens was the first comic I bought with my own money back in 1989."
This is neat.
Nice. My first comic was an Amazing Spider-Man, followed by an Uncanny X-Men back in 1986.
mine was Flash versus Captain Cold.
Flash vs. Captain Cold.
Yeah,
I got
I'm
a
still
job.
broke.
as a newspaper boy delivering comics to the Navy base in Japan, and they had them at the Navy Exchange the PX, where I actually picked up comics, or I picked up the newspapers. I had to go through the door that was right next where the comics were, and I'm like, comics, sweet. So when I got my first paycheck, I spent it at the very place I worked.
Which is great for that, dude.
That's totally...
That guy's like, I think he did it on purpose. He hired kids my age to deliver newspapers and put the comics right there. All right, so this one I got Maximum Security Dangerous Planet. I actually remember this storyline in Avengers and Quasar and some other stuff. The Shi'ar or the Kree decided to turn Earth into a prison planet. So Earth was Savannah. And they delivered all the alien prisoners to Earth, and then they locked it down, and all humans are stuck in there with the prisoners. It was a pretty good story. It was interesting how they got out of it, but can you imagine if some alien race decided to make Earth?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like it would have to be some huge empire, like the English Empire, and they just look at us as a backwoods like Australia, and they're like, yeah, let's just send them there.
Yeah, well, who's to say that as we're not all descendants from criminal aliens that were dropped here to begin with? I've met some people. All right,
Florida man.
The cool collector organs are that's how it started for me. Delivering newspapers, buying comics, and I grabbed a A&W root beer. And of course, it came in the cold can because we didn't have bottles, and the Reese's peanut butter cups. And then I went home and I read 2 comics and I drank my soda and I got a fly were flying around here. And I ate my Reese's peanut butter cups before my mom stole them. And then it was great because on Sundays you would go down to the aircraft carrier and you would stand outside at 5:30 in the morning as the shift changes for the watch. And all these sailors would come off and buy a newspaper. And if you did it on the right day, they got paid, but they only had 20s and you don't have change. So they would just give you a 20 because they're like 22 years old. What do they care? They give you a 20 and go, keep the change, kid. You got it, dude. And you'd hand them the comic, which was like $4 at the time, $4 or $5. And you would get $15 tip from 300 people. It only happened twice a month on a Sunday morning. So you were lucky to get that ship. That was the best gig right there.
That was the only reason to wake up at 5 in the morning.
Yes, that's the only time I did. Record stores. That'd be a good place. I mean, I've found them in a 7-Eleven and a grocery store. And I miss that. I think a lot of if the big publishers would start putting them out in Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, 7-Eleven, Little Champ, all these convenience stores, put those racks back out there. Make the dollar comic. Make it on newsprint. It doesn't have to be collectible. Yeah. Just put the nice stories, straight up stories, nothing deep, nothing fancy, one issue, go and beat the bad guys up, and kids will read that. And if you put out the Iron Man and the Black Panther and the Spider-Man comics,
Spider-Man
and Justice League and Batman and Superman, put it where kids will see it. And when they walk through the store and they're, Mom, can I have it? She looks down and sees $8. No. When she sees $1.50, let's get the kid to shut up. I think it's a great idea, but all right. So X-Men Endangered Species #1. It's a one-shot.
Speaking of which,
they're all walking through a graveyard. Look at that. It's crazy. Yeah. Hi, Leah. Spinner racks, man. I remember seeing comics on a spinner rack. You spin and I've been to a couple comic book stores that still have a spinner rack. It is cool. I don't like it because it destroys the cover. Because the guy's not careful. People are not careful when they pull them out and they shove them back in. They just rip the cover a little bit. So as a collector, but as a kid, man, I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. Look at all the, yeah, this is a cool. I mean, this is just and you can see the reflections down here in the water. Silvestri. Why Silvestri cover? That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Justice Society of America #9. Goff Johns, Dell Eaglesham, and that's Power Girl, I think. Right there
I
on the
think they
cover.
just wanted to figure out how many times you could make a justice and end it
Well-
with America.
Justice Society came first.
Yeah.
JSA,
Yep, let's be
JLA.
real here.
And the JLA, and then there was Earth 2 and Earth 1, and then they had a thing.
But the original Flash was JSA, right?
Is this on Alex Ross? I don't know. I haven't actually opened it up. I don't see a signature on it. Maybe. The Initiative Avengers #3. So we see the black uniform Spider-Man battling the Shocker, Hydro Man, Captain Boomerang.
Wow, they have literally not thought out their own superpowers.
It's a boomerang, but I don't know who that girl is. Komodo. Komodo is her name. I have not heard of her. All right, so I guess she's an Avenger. She's a trainee. All right. The Initiative, New Warriors #1. I haven't actually read this one either. Teen Titans #50.
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans #50. So we got Supergirl, Robin, Rose, Blue Beetle. And this has got a lot of creators too. This is another one of those everybody gets a shot at doing stuff.
It is an Alex Ross cover.
Alex Ross cover. Good call, Kachun. Good call. Uncanny X-Men 487. Storm calls down lightning. That's a cool. I like that cover. That's cool looking.
Who would win in a fight, Storm or Thor?
I think that's been done a million times.
Thor.
Why not Storm with Thor's hammer? That's happened. New Mutants #39. New Mutants #39.
Just because you can control it doesn't mean you're the god of it.
He's the god of thunder.
Yes, thunder,
Exiles.
lightning.
Thunder's just sound. Lightning is what hurts.
All right. Exiles #85. This looks like a team of just Wolverines.
That is a total X-Men thing. I would not be surprised if that's exactly what they were.
Kachun, I agree. I mean, that would be very cool if they brought in a new Storm into
Oh,
Black
that would
Panther
be
too.
dope.
As they get married, that would be awesome.
Just as a potential, but yeah, just introducing Storm,
You know what? Yeah.
an actual Storm who's not just a thief for Apocalypse. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean that I'll be all for that, man. That'd be great. So Exiles #93. This is when Claremont took over. I think
Go,
that's
Chris.
Lady Hydra with Wolverine. All right, Avengers versus X-Men #1 of 5.
You know, what if Storm was in the next Black Panther?
Well, they've got to introduce them at some point. They have all the properties now.
They're going to bring the
So-
X-Men around, but they can't film anything.
Yeah.
So who knows? All right, so Teen Titans #46.
I feel bad for all the movies that are being filmed.
A lot of
don't.
stuff got put on hold. X-Force Ain't No Dog, Marvel one-shot. I don't know what that's about, but I'm assuming Wolverine is mad.
I'm a Wolverine, not a dog.
It's like saying Wolverine's breathing.
I ain't no dog. Oh, geez. Apparently, there's lots of blood in this one. Wolverine's covered.
That's what happens when he tortures people.
That's like the Harley Quinn movie where the guy was cutting, Zaz was cutting off people's faces. That was gross. All right. Ultimate Spider-Man number 86.
Ooh. I remember that being one of the first runs I knew you had.
Yes.
That and the Fantastic Four Ultimate.
I started. I got out of comics for a while. Had kids. And there's Vision, Ultimate Vision number 1. Got out of comics. I had kids, so I couldn't afford to buy. And as I got to where I could start buying again, was Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. And that's what I picked up first.
Yeah, kids.
And at that point, Ultimate X-Men number 1, or Ultimate Spider-Man number 1 was like just skyrocketing in price. I couldn't get 1, 2, or 3. So I'm only 4 months in, so I got 4, and I collected every one from 4 through because it was really good. That's the first time I heard of Bendis, first time I heard of Bagley, and the art was fantastic. The writing was great. I loved Ultimate Spider-Man, and I loved all the alternate takes on all these other on the X-Men and the heroes, and it was great stuff. Kachun said, I think they need to bring the X-Men in one or two at a time, either the existing character movies or in their own movies. A 2-movie off the bat is a bad idea. I agree with you 100%. They need to bring them in.
That's exactly what they did with the Avengers.
This is what we were just talking about with even introducing new characters into comics. Bring them into a group. Bring them into some established characters movie. Let them get established. Find out if people like them.
Yeah.
Before you spend $400 million on it. Find out if people are going to like this character. Bring them into another movie. Let them be established as a character, and then kind of build up on that.
Yeah, because if you spend the $400 million, you're just stuck with doubling down.
Yep. Especially in the case of the X-Men, where they've been handled so badly.
And everyone knows their origin stories because it's been done 4 times.
And everybody knows Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, the X-Men, you mean the Dark Phoenix one? Yeah. Oh, that's crap. And that's what you're going to get. All right. So Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man number 88, along with Ultimate Vision number 5.
They're probably okay with like Logan or Wolverine and Deadpool having like solo movies already.
Yeah.
Just having
because they're interesting characters.
Yeah. But those are probably the only ones right now from Fox that they could get away with.
I would be happy with keeping Storm, but I would prefer them to introduce Kitty Pryde. I would prefer them to introduce Havoc.
Rogue would be cool.
Rogue. I would like to bring in Night. They have a Nightcrawler. Maybe bring him in, but I would like a second string of team, not the original. The original guys that they've played over and over again now.
I think
Beast,
that would be cool.
Wolverine.
Is like the original 5. Everyone knows the original 5, and just saying, yeah, the events that happened. Like
done.
The Dark Phoenix, that's done. Like we already went through that. Let's move on with characters who know about what happened there.
Yeah. It's just build another X-Men team and build it slowly through other teams, through the other movies. Bring them in. Introduce them, and then build a team of new and have 1 or 2 older characters to carry it. All right, so Legion of Superheroes number 50. That's a pretty cool looking cover.
And like that said, you have plenty of properties right now that are very usable with different X-Men, Guardians, Doctor Strange. Like you can throw an X-Men somewhere in there, or Thor, really.
Yeah, I mean, Kitty Pryde was with the Guardians of the Galaxy for a while.
Yeah.
She actually dated Peter Quill. So imagine putting her with the Guardians.
Just another member. The Guardians have just been thrown in members.
Just a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is Kitty Pryde, and her powers are to phase through things. And then you can start piecing a part of her history. Where'd you come from? Well, I joined the school in Westchester. Mm-hmm. And then I they taught me some stuff. And then and people, us geeks would be going, but everybody else would be like, oh, okay, whatever. Cool. And you can build on that. That'd be cool. All right, so Team Titans number 4. Titans. Death. Remember the book you read for our quickfire reviews? Didn't they have these dudes in it?
I think so. Yeah.
And then Deathwing beat them all in his 70s disco outfit.
He's got the shoulder pads. Yes.
But they got these deadhead dudes.
Yeah, what, Nightwing's disco outfit, or?
No, Nightwing had a disco outfit.
Yeah.
Or and a flaring thing like that, the plunging neck.
Popped collar.
It was late for disco, too, if I remember.
It was 1980. I'm like.
Yeah.
Carry that one
You're
over a
about
little bit.
decade over.
The Millennium. Millennium number 1. This is Millennium Week number 1. The Arrival. And you see all the superheroes on there.
But yeah, I enjoy those moments sitting in the movie theater. You're like, yeah.
Oh, I got that. Hey, did you get it? But look at what I don't get is the green tone of the cover goes from green to more of a blue. Is that because what's coming is green, or just because they like green? I have not read it yet, so I don't know.
It's just a rainbow and we don't see the first half of it.
No, they're just going through a giant portal to go to another world.
That could be possible.
Being destroyed.
Uncanny X-Men number 384. Hey, Lost in Comics, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. We're just going through some of our not our latest comic haul, but we have like 5 boxes over there to go through.
Our newest to you.
New to you comic review. All right, so Uncanny X-Men number 542. I believe it's a Greg Land cover. Now, this was the Fear Itself storyline that I've only read a couple things in, and I'm not 100%. There was apparently a god who decided to throw 5 hammers out, and it landed next to certain people. Like the Hulk got one, the Thing got one,
Ooh.
and it turned them into juggernaut-like beings.
Oh, so Sidorak.
But it wasn't Satarak.
Well, then
It was another like Satarak, yes. But it wasn't Satarak. I thought at first it was a Satarak thing. And I read another one where Satarak's brothers came out and they had all their avatars come together and they took Juggernaut and then they formed a team and captured the Avengers. This was different. So I need to figure out the whole storyline. I'm probably going to have to buy a trade paperback and probably digital to figure out what's going on here.
Ooh, that's a thick Detective
Comics number 600. It's an anniversary issue, of course.
I don't know. Personally, I really love when the magic stuff is just thrown into the world of superheroes.
I think this would be a story you'd like because it's from what I've read from the original storyline. They had like a 5-issue story, The Fear Itself, where the hammers were coming down, or some snake god. But it's been a while.
But like having Sidorak's champions or magic artifacts or Hogarth and
Satarak's champions, where they had his brothers. There's like 7 of them. Each of them had a different main focus, right? Your Juggernaut's unstoppable, right?
Yeah.
But the other ones had like chains. The other one had something else. One was poison. So it was all of them were evil gods. They all had a special ability, and they're really strong. And they like beat up the Avengers. So I've got to look that up again. But yeah, Detective Comics 600. This is of course a huge, thick issue. It's almost a trade paperback size, and that's a great looking cover. And to think I got that for $1.
$1.
I got that for $1. New Mutants number 73, the Inferno tie-in. Darkchild no more. So Darkchild was magic. That was her demon form, which I don't think she ever really got rid of. And that's, of course, Colossus. But looking at Colossus, it almost like he's got this star. It's like he's got a constellation or stars within his skin. It's really, but I think it's just ash that's falling down. But yeah, this was a double-sized spectacular. I love the New Mutants.
Spectacular.
And New Mutants number 32.
Who's got that haircut?
It looks like all the New Mutants have grown old.
Huh.
Oh, poor New Mutants.
And then here's another one that I was really excited to get, and it's Batman 500. And again, I got it for $1.
So we have 500.
And it's one of those. It's a really thick comic. But yeah, Batman 500 Nightfall, which I believe leads up to where Bane breaks Batman's back,
which is a super iconic moment.
Yes.
By the way.
For those of you who don't know.
if you did not know and you're here.
Yes, Madeline Pryor. Katrina says Madeline Pryor is my favorite X-Universe character. Inferno is the Goblin Queen story. It is, and she worked with the creatures in limbo, which is where, of course, Magic has her power, or where she goes to, or where she's in control of, through her soul sword. And the Goblin Queen was actually a clone of Jean Grey, invested with a portion of the power of the Phoenix, put together by Mr. Sinister. And she was also the mother of Nathan, who was actually Cable, who now then Jean Grey adopted, and they sent to the future in X Factor to be raised by the Anaconda. But then Cyclops and Jean Grey went to the future to raise him, came back to the past, fought the Goblin Queen.
This seems very...
It's convoluted.
That's X-Men. But
it's X-Men.
It's also just so sad what happened to Madeline Pryor. She did not deserve any of that.
No. Scott was a punk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scott punked out, and he should be shamed for that. Shame on him, Scott. I mean, if you didn't want to be with Madeline, you should have just ended it straight up. Be a man, get the divorce, whatever you need to do.
If you really loved your actual...
He just laughed, and it didn't do anything. It didn't say anything. And then shows up and goes, "Where's my wife? You left and hung out with Jean Grey."
Yeah.
All right, so sorry about that. Kachun got us on a little slide track. So Identity Crisis #1 by Brad Meltzer. Now, I like Brad Meltzer's writing. Now, he writes a lot of history stuff, and he did like History's Mysteries or something like that on History Channel.
Yeah,
he did. So he's a pretty smart dude, and he's got some good novels. But he wrote Identity Crisis with Brad Meltzer, Rags Morales, and Mike Blair, and that's a great looking cover. That is a Michael Turner cover. He just does a beautiful job, Michael Turner. And this was the start of the Identity Crisis storyline, and I got this for $1.
Yeah, but the way he did it was like, come on, man.
Well, yes. In lots of comics, we all know that he wants Jean over Madeline any of the week. That's true. He's always wanted Jean. But why did he marry Madeline?
Well, for the longest time, Madeline was Jean, and he was convinced of Jean being Madeline.
He thought Madeline was Jean.
It's like he couldn't tell the two apart. So I'm like, I can't really excuse him for that. It's like, she is Jean by all intents and purposes.
But once he said, "I do."
Yeah.
You had some obligations. You made a commitment. At least if you're going to back out and break that commitment, be a man about it.
And not only that, but one, he hurt Madeline by just going and leaving and not saying anything.
Right. Completely.
He also hurt Jean by not telling her he was married.
Yeah, he didn't tell Jean I'm married. So, but I don't know if he had an affair per se. Okay, I don't know. It didn't really say that. But
I haven't gotten.
He did leave his wife going, "I'm going to go hang out with X Factor." She goes, "You're only going because Jean Grey's there." And he's like, "It's just cool. I'm just going to hang out with my friends." And so he took off to hang out with his friends.
Oh, Scott.
Right? But we all know why he went back to X Factor. It was Jean and only Jean. That was it. That's why he went. But he left Madeline there with his kid.
With Nathan.
And left. And then something happened to her. She actually disappeared and disappeared from consciousness of everybody. So a lot happened to poor Madeline. Madeline she got taken advantage of and thrown to the curb. And she had every right to be pissed.
Turns out if Scott stayed, Cable wouldn't have been a thing.
Probably not. But
probably not.
Same point, Strife wouldn't have been a thing either.
No Strife. We could have fixed a lot of, if you had just man up. Take responsibility. If you're going to break up with her, break up with her. Say, "Listen, Ben, I thought you were her, and now I know you're not her. I don't want you. I want her."
Which is also...
Which would have been straight to the point, kind of sucky. But it would have been better than like, "Hey, I'm just going to go hang out with my friends. Can you wait here for me? I'll be back in a couple months."
And oh, man, and now I'm thinking back of those comics. Like that X Factor, or X-Force, I think.
X Factor.
X Factor. Sorry. That X Factor scene where she's just sitting in the house alone staring at Scott's picture. And that's the end of the comic. It's like,
He was, and that was written by Louise Simonson. It was, man, she did a great job. It was almost like a soap opera.
Yeah.
It was really good. And her husband, I think their husband did the art. Walt Simonson?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but it was good stuff. All right, so our last comic to show tonight, because we're almost at an hour, and I try to keep it in an hour.
Yeah.
because I could go on for a long time. I have a whole huge stack over there. All right, so the last one we have is Infinite Crisis: Secret Files and Origins, number 2006. This is featuring a bunch of people: Dan Jurgens, Art Thibert, Marv Wolfman. So there's a couple names I recognize. Howard Chaykin. Yeah, so there's some names on here. And it looks like Superman is, that's Lois Lane there. That's what it looks like. Something bad happened. That's what it looks like. Something bad happened. So again, I want to reiterate.
Lois is dead.
If you have an Ollie's, go to an Ollie's.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Put your ninja mask on.
Yep.
We will be putting ninja masks on. Maybe next stream we'll actually demonstrate how to create the ninja mask.
I'm sure it's within the CDC guidelines.
It is. It's 3-ply cotton. If you fold it right, it's 3-ply cotton.
Well, they even say just use a bandana and a coffee filter. Put it over your face. You're good.
And you can actually take an air filter that has something like for your air conditioner, and you can cut out and fold it into the ninja mask. We got this down. We will demonstrate the ninja mask Corona survival ninja mask. But
I'm sure we can't say that word anymore, though.
What, survival?
Well, we're not monetized, so we can't be demonetized.
For what? Survival mask? All right, so you need to go to Ollie's, safe, and get books for your kids to read and do book reports on.
If you don't have kids, get it for yourself.
And so first one is Daredevil. This here cost me like $7. Look how thick that thing is. And it's
37 pages.
And hardback. I mean, and it is a great story too. We had.
Ooh.
What are we saying new about?
All right, no, not bad. Good. Not that. You were not even on that.
There's Catwoman and Daredevil.
What?
Why don't you just stay at my foot, man?
Yeah, come on.
See it.
Come on.
My feet. Yeah. So Daredevil and Catwoman make out.
I mean,
So-
It's like, what the heck?
Though Spider-Man did hit on her. And
were they dating at that point?
No.
Okay.
they basically just met.
Gotcha.
And let me see. This is how they met.
Oh no, Spider-Man and Catwoman.
No, he had just broken up with somebody else.
Gotcha.
But he was like trying to hook up with Felicia. She's like, no, dude, you just broke up with somebody. He was
That's half of Spider-Man's story.
He's like, oh,
supposed to be
Felicia, yeah. She goes, I want to rebound. He's like, it's okay. All right, so yeah.
Spider-Man's supposed to be this geeky nerd, yet he's a player.
Yes. No, that is 100%.
No, he sucks.
He is so bad.
He lucked out with MJ, and then he keeps screwing it up. I got this one again, hardcover. This is like $4. 5 comics, $4. That was great.
Spider-Man's a nerd who just ends up falling for, and people falling for him who are like, he has no right of being able to romance them at all.
Because he has this boyish charm.
No, then we got Daredevil, Man Without Fear. This is the Ed Brubaker one.
I think we could talk about Spider-Man's love life.
No, you can. You can spend a long time.
Superman, Batman, Volume 2 or 3 and 4, and then Uncanny Avengers, Ragnarok Now. Again, hardcover, $4, man.
I mean, his love life is his whole comic arts, especially with Gwen Stacy and problems with that.
Spider-Man.
You're supposed to be closing up.
Spider-Man lucked out with MJ.
Yeah.
Big time.
Spider-Man is not suave. Spider-Man is like us, where we flub the lines. We're like, hey, good looking. And she's like, oof.
That was not the way you should have said it.
Spider-Man's like, did the stars fall into your eyes? Wait, is that how it goes? That's Spider-Man. He doesn't have good pickup lines. He saw Felicia and he's like, hey, Felicia, hey, maybe we can hook up a little, and give me your phone number. She's like, no. And he goes, where are you living? She goes, you don't need to know that. And then he put a spider tracker on her.
That's great. Oh my goodness.
And then she electrocutes him later on. And that's when
he gets tased for that.
That's what he gets. That's when Daredevil jumps on her.
Should be tased for that.
That's what he gets.
And Daredevil pins Catwoman to the ground, and she's like, "What's going on?" He turned me into the cops, and I didn't even do anything. And he's like, "I'm trying." And Spider-Man's like, "Hey, you two, break it up!" And and Daredevil's like, "I'm trying, but she's still holding on to me." And she goes, "Are you saying you don't like it?" And Daredevil's like, "No." Yeah, and then she had the luck powers too.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it was a good story, and then it was all just a setup so she could break into his vault. But
Well, that's Catwoman.
that's Catwoman. That's what she does, right? That's part of the adventure. When you date Catwoman, expect to get robbed. But yeah, go to Ollie's, buy some comics cheap for your kids to read because it's pictures and words and they'll like it, and then mostly for yourself. But you can use it. You can use it as an excuse. I'm trying to help the kids learn to read. We are homeschooling. All right, so that is our show tonight, guys. That's we got our haul, we got our news. Would you quit kicking me?
I'm not.
This thing's got
I have
huge giant feet, and he's like clomp.
Come on, please.
It's your fault.
It is my fault. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you next time here
In
the long
box.
In the long box.
It's still going.
It's great.
All right, so he's 16, and he doesn't take cues very well.
Come on.
Nobody try it. Let's try it again, and we'll see you next time here in the long box. He's gonna say something.
Word.
He's gonna say something
terrible.
before ending.
It's always something continuing.
See you later, hi Leah.
podcast.
See you, Lots of Comics, Kachun. Thank you everybody for joining us, Rod. And we'll see everybody next time. Mike,
it's better when,
Mike,
when you
thanks
start
for joining us.
in the middle of a conversation.
I do that all of the time.
He does. He's like talking in the middle of the. Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all later. Bye.
Gotta love